Let's talk to Dr. Alan Stern, who was also in Baltimore and who has been leading the New Horizons investigation since it began. Very many congratulations on well, I suppose a mission accomplished and a spectacular one. Just tell us what we've learned. So the geological sort of activity is the big thing that we've really learned today, the fact that it's been an active planet.
Right, we've learned something that we really didn't expect, which is this little planet orbiting so far from the sun is still active billions of years after its birth, and its biggest satellite, named Charon, is also active at half Pluto's size. It's amazing to us.
Right. Now, the key thing is that we don't normally think of these places as being active because there's no heat, there's nothing to kind of animate them somehow. Is that right? You would have expected it to sort of just fizzle into a rather dead rock. Is that a big discovery then?
Yeah, it is a big discovery, and we'd actually wondered in some other cases with satellites of the giant planets whether we were seeing some hints of exactly this, but we knew that we had to travel to a place like Pluto, a planet on its own, not associated with a giant planet, to test this theory. And now we have the answer, one day after the flyby.
Right.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So what's causing the activity? How can it be geologically active? There's nothing exerting a gravitational pull on it nearby. It's not hot, it's not next to the sun, it's not all melted. What's the cause of it then?
Well, that's a very good question. We have a few ideas, but we don't know which one is right. And it may even be that a different one is right for Charon than is for Pluto. One idea, for example, is there could be an ocean on the inside of one or both worlds, which is slowly freezing and releasing heat that keeps the geology active. That would be pretty exciting, wouldn't it?
So has this exceeded your expectations? I mean, it's been a long time coming. You're obviously over the moon, so to speak. But has it exceeded expectations?
Absolutely. I think the entire team is in agreement that we expected a pretty exciting place, but the things that we're seeing are even beyond our expectations and even beyond our imagination.
And now New Horizons, it's just going on and on out there, isn't it? I mean, is it going to send anything useful back? It's the Kuiper Belt, is that what we call it, where it's heading off to now?
Right. Well, we'll spend about a year and 4 months getting all the Pluto data back to the Earth. That's a very long and involved process, communicating over 3 billion miles. And then following that, we'd like to do a second flyby about another billion miles, 1.6 billion kilometers further in 2019 to continue exploring.
Right. I actually heard that if something, a little particle the size of a grain of rice, if that hits New Horizons, it would probably break the thing up.
That's absolutely right. Because of our tremendous forward speed of over 31,000 miles an hour, even a collision with something as small as a grain of rice could be fatal to the spacecraft. Fortunately, that's very, very low probability. We've traveled all the way across the solar system for 9.5 years, and we think that the odds of ever hitting something like that are very low, far less than 1%.
And I hadn't realized until today that there are actually some of the ashes of Clyde Tombaugh, the man who discovered Pluto all those years ago, back in 1930. Some of his ashes are actually on board. That's
absolutely true.
And
now I tell you the story.
Go ahead.
You know, when Tombaugh passed, he had asked that if there was ever a mission to Pluto, that some of his ashes be carried on board. And we knew that story, and we asked the family shortly before launch if they'd like us to help make that dream come true. And working with NASA, we were able to make that happen and launch him. In fact, he's not only going back, as he's already done now, and past his own planet, but this spacecraft is traveling so fast that it's leaving the solar system, going out into the galaxy. So Clyde Tombaugh will be the first human being launched to the stars, at least in the form of his ashes.
It's extraordinary. Dr. Alan Stern, thanks very much and well done again.